All right, and good morning and welcome to the November 22nd episode of The Business Perspective. My name is Dan Elliott and I'm joined this morning with Mr. Corey Leslie. Good morning, Corey.
Hi, Dion. How's it going?
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great because I'm always talking about the extravaganza, so I'm always in a
So that's the only time you're great?
No. Well, you would think because all year long I'm talking about these type of events and I'm always in a good mood because of them, so you would think.
You would think. Left that lyric. But yes, anytime. Well, obviously, once you see Corey up here, that means something good is happening. We have the Christmas Expo coming up. So can you please tell us about the Christmas Expo, Corey, and smooth into introducing the two guests you have with us this morning?
Definitely. So for those who do not know as yet, we're bringing back the BCCI Christmas Extravaganza, and that's slated for Saturday, December 3rd at the Governor General's Field in Belmopan City. So this was a collaboration with the Belmopan City Council, and of course I have to give a big shout out to Mayor Palacio and her team. They've been super instrumental in helping us organize this event and to bring, small businesses together in the capital city and to unite people from all over the country to come and enjoy some great Christmas deals and get a head start on their Christmas shopping. So, yeah, we're very excited for this one. And of course, we have to welcome our guests. Sorry about that. To my immediate right, we have Ms. Adelaide Sabido. She's the Ads and Communications Supervisor at Smart. And Smart is our gold sponsor for the event, so we could not go without having their input. And then we have Mr. Akmar Kad, our Western Union Supervisor and Compliance Officer. And he'll be helping me to sell our BCCI Western Union booth for the event. So we want to get people over there, and Akmar will help me to do that job this morning.
Akmar, the platinum sponsor.
As always.
Well, welcome both of you this morning. Ladies first, so I definitely want to toss the first question over to you, Mr. Sabido. Smart, gold sponsor, Christmas Expo. Why the Expo?
I think we've always put ourselves out there for our customers. Time and time again, we get special requests from our customers, and I think one thing we can pride ourselves on is we have that rapport with our customers. We have excellent customer service that they keep in very close contact, especially our sales managers, to customers. So if there are any issues, if there are any special requests, if there are demands, that gets trickled up to us when we are making decisions in what promotions and deals to offer to the customers. And so most definitely that is our pivotal reason of why we chose to be a part of this expo. I think we've always been a part of the Chamber's expo shows, and it's in December and we're getting closer to the Christmas season. I think for some we're already in the Christmas season, but of course we're not going to wait until December 2nd to offer deals. It's next week, Saturday. For us, it's still a little early to broadcast what those deals are. We want to keep it a little bit of surprise. Yes, we're one of those people. Because when we come strong, right? And we want to make sure we give the very best deals to not just Smart customers, but to our Belizean people. And so what I can say about the extravaganza is that we will have discounts up to 40% off devices, 40% savings, and we will also have special promotions and discounts on those who want to make the switch for broadband and for customers who want to be a broadband customer for the first time. And we will also be having, you can't just do a promotion on the prices of the device, but you also have to couple the device with some minutes and text and data, and so customers can look at having enjoying that 40% discount, as well as enjoying, coupled with that discount, up to $60 in credit on their device when they walk away from the Smart booth. And most naturally, we will have the double and triple up at the booth like we always do, right? That's there.
It's 2022, man. Going to 2023, I had to get quadruple up, man.
Well, you never know. It might be sprung on the last minute, right? And I think we always do little giveaways for the first couple customers that comes at the booth. So I encourage the public to stay tuned to our Facebook page and Instagram. Look out for our text blast that will be coming out in the next couple days to say exactly what they can enjoy when they visit the Extravaganza Expo.
Corey, didn't we talk about this, about exhibitors coming and hiding their deal?
I'm a suspense person myself. I like to build a little bit of mystery behind it.
So this is what's going on.
It's not the suspense, but I think customers to some level appreciate that, because then they know that the businesses and the competitors are having that little behind the scenes war, and they're waiting anxiously to see what the best deals are. So it can be a good thing.
Fair enough. I'm not convinced, but I'll ride the wave. But let's bring Akmar into this. Akmar, you're no stranger to this show. I think a lot of people, I don't know, that some people may know, some people may not know that the Chamber of Commerce is a master agent for Western Union.
For Western Union, correct. And as well, we being a master agent of Western Union, we are a department of the Chamber, so we as well participate in all of these expos, trying to spread the word, spread awareness about Western Union and what we have going on, right? So we will be at the expo. We have a promotion running, a Western Union promotion. Actually, the promotion started November 1st, and it's basically, in a nutshell, it gives all our customers opportunity to win cash prizes. We like to give away cash. We believe cash is the way to go. So throughout this Christmas season, we know that you guys, our customers, might be sending, and so we encourage you guys to visit BCCI Western Union. If you can see on the screen, our prizes run. The first prize is $2,000, second prize is $1,500, the third prize is $1,000, right? So we also have a bonus prize, basically a Christmas basket, a Christmas hamper, filled with all the Christmas goodies that you will need, right? So if you visit our Western Union locations throughout the country, we have 33 locations. You can see them displayed on the screen. Their phone number as well. Feel free to reach out to any one of them. Any one of these locations that you visit, you will enter a chance for the promotion, right? I want to put some emphasis on sending transactions. Whenever you send, you get double the chance to enter into this promotion, right? So sending is very important. Also, we have a service called Intra. Intra is our local transactions, right? So many people may not know, but we send transactions locally. It doesn't have to be across the border, but we also send transactions locally. So whenever you send a transaction locally, you also get double the chance to enter into this promotion. It's just for us to try to.
Here at Chorus, we just have to send to each other, right?
That's fine, right? So we have locations in every district, in every town, the keys as well. So again, that's the list up there. You can find the list on our website. You can feel free to call us at any time.
I have a question. How can people distinguish? Because we're not the only master agent. How do you know if it's a BCCI Western
only
Union?
Master agent? Well, majority of our locations are branded with the BCCI logo, right? On those Western Union signs, you will see the BCCI logo. Very reliable service. Please, feel free to reach out. And like I said, if you want to enter into the promotion and you're not sure where you can find a location, you can feel free to call us at the BCCI office and we can basically refer you, or again, visit our Facebook pages or website and you can find that information.
And just
right?
in case anybody doesn't know what the BCCI logo is, no, go back right where you were with the shot between Akmar and Ali, because that right there in the middle is the BCCI logo, not to be confused with KHMA.
Yes, look for that along with the Western Union sign, and that's where you need to go, right? And also to plug in at the extravaganza in Belmopan, we'll be doing transactions. So if anybody go out there and run out of money, you're shopping too much and you might need a little extra cash or something, then you can have that be sent to you or you know something and complete all the shopping and stuff that you want to do, right? So yes, so we'll be out there providing the Western Union service.
So we have Smart giving away up to 40%. It's up to 40%, you said, right? So you have a spectrum between that on new devices.
Right.
New devices and a mystery giveaway that they don't want to tell us. And Western Union is giving away cash.
Yes. And the chamber is no exception as well. We want to get in the mix as well. So we have several exhibitors who have most generously donated or pledged to donate different goods and services that will be on display out there. And they want everyone to get a sample or a chance to sample what they have to offer. So we have over 15, I think approaching 20 prizes, gift prizes that will be given away. And these include an array of things from jewelry to skincare products to handmade resin earrings to candles, and this is all local. This is all, and mainly micro businesses stepping their game up and getting involved. So the chamber is no exception. We have giveaways coming your way as well that you can look forward to, right? And what's also great about this that I need to mention is the Belmopan City Council has their monthly night market, and that's been a big hit these days. A lot of vendors have expressed when registering that they also participate in the night market. So this is really a group effort with that team, and it offers people from all over the country, just like the Western Union promo, where pretty much everyone gets a chance to enter. Having it in the capital city, you know, having it out west where people have the better access, they can get there easier. That makes it even better, and it has that same flair of the night market, which kicks up around 6 p.m. because it's from 11 a.m. to 10 in the night. So full day of events, full family event. But the night market kicks over at 6 p.m. so you can go straight from your shopping into all the great booths, enjoyment, food, entertainment that you enjoy at the night market. So that's something to look forward to.
I think this is one of the latest I think the expo has gone. I mean, I
think it's the first time.
Because it's the first time going this late into the night. So again,
well, the council, they know their people. They informed us that the Mopan are night people. That's why they have their night market, no? So the council gave us that heads up that you want this thing to run right into the night, and you'll see that type of traction. And we hope we see that traction at this time. So we're trying to cater to everybody.
Excellent. But coming back to you, Mr. Bido. So, Smart, you guys you rightly said earlier that you're a regular participant in this expo. Why do you?
It's a way to reach our customers, and it's in not just reaching them, but it's a way to interact with them and to listen to their demands, like I said earlier, and especially as but prior to COVID, you know, we still had that rapport. But as we come out of that, come out of the pandemic, and we're back to some level of normalcy, but not fully there yet. It's a way to help, I think, everyone be able to budget communications in their monthly expenses. It's something that we saw clearly. Data is everything. If you need to get in contact with somebody, the fastest way is through a phone call. And prior to COVID, I don't think we realized that, but it's necessary to have some form of service to stay in contact with people. Our very slogan is bringing people together, and we've definitely, over our 17 years of existence, seen that. I think we have done an extremely good job, being that we are very small compared to our competitor, and we are able to reach the population, and a very large percentage of the population. And that's primarily, I think, because of the rapport that we've built with the public.
Excellent. Well, we're winding down quickly to that end. So anything that we want to add here, Akmar, that hasn't been said before?
Well, it has been said before, but I just want to repeat it. We want to encourage all our customers to, I said, during this Christmas time, visit our BCCI Western Union. This promotion will be running from, it has started on November 1st, so if you all did a transaction from November 1st, you already entered, and it's going to be drawn in the MAGA season.
Correct.
Ending of January, right? So, and again, we'll have the cash prizes will be given away ending of January, and the Christmas hamper will be drawn maybe just in time for Christmas, right? So I just want to thank all our customers and look forward to seeing you guys.
So you do your spending during at the Christmas Expo, and then you get back some.
Exactly.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
in addition to the spending that they'll do for the expo, and since we're winding down, we do have one last thing that we can talk about right now. Well, several, but I'll make it quick. We're not waiting until next weekend to do a sale. We do have a sale going on right now, and that ends on November 30th. It's our version of Black Friday deals, right? And so that started yesterday in all showrooms. Discounts are given heavily on an array of devices in our showroom, especially the MiFi and some Fire Sticks. And so I want to encourage the public to visit the showroom. Once you buy a device and you need a new number, a new smart number, a new SIM, the SIMs are only for $5 as compared to the usual price of $15, right? So that's one thing. We also have a trade-in promotion going on for folks in the Belize district. And the reason why it's for the Belize district is we just came out of Hurricane Lisa, and as we rebuild, we're giving the folks a chance to upgrade their device. They may have damaged device, they may have a device that got wet. The device does not need to work. The screen can be completely shattered, parts of the screen can be missing, and once you come to the showroom, you can get 20% off select models for phones ranging from $800 and below.
But it had to have been a smartphone before, though. Or
No,
it
you just
could
have
switch.
to have an active SIM.
Okay.
Right, either from the other provider or from Smart. So it's not limited. And then the big thing is World Cup, right? We know the fans are watching. We had some games this morning at 4 o'clock and one at 7 right now. I bet there are a lot of Belizeans that got up for some reason to watch this game. I'm not really of a football fan, but I will watch the final game. Right, so we have a predict and win promo that's going on where there are two ways you can enter this game, and the first way is through the app, downloading the Smart app. All the information from FIFA is up there to see all the games, times, who's playing, etc. And you can put your vote in through the app. Each vote is 50 cents. You can vote as many times. So basically, you're voting which team's going to win. And at the end of the World Cup series, we will have prizes for the person with the most points, and those prizes are a 55-inch TV and food and snacks, a party for 8.
Nice.
And second prize is a 40-inch TV, and third prize is a 32-inch TV, which would come in perfect for Christmas, right? And so that's the first way, texting in through the Smart app, which is pretty easy, user-friendly. And the second way is texting to 8946, and in the body of the message, you're going to enter the game number. So I think at 7 o'clock, it's game 6. So you would put 6, and if you think Team A will get so many points, you put in that points, followed by another space, and the points for Team B. So it's very easy. Again, each text is only 50 cents, and you get a chance to win fantastic prizes for the World Cup.
Super nice. All these things in time for Christmas.
I know.
Money to come in, TV to come in. I mean, you can't go wrong. And I can't close off without, of course, thanking our sponsors. We had, as I mentioned, Smart as our gold sponsor, Atlantic Bank Limited, our silver sponsors, and of course we had Creme Radio, who is our media sponsor. And we have tons of exhibitors who are giving many prizes out there that will be raffled during the event at our booth. Check out booth 50. That's where you'll find the BCCI Western Union booth. And of course, Smart will be at booths 19 and 20. So come down and see us. We're very excited to be there with everyone and to share in some good, clean fun. So.
All right. And with that, thank you very much, Corey. Thank you, Ms. Sabina and Atmar.
Thank you for
Mr.
having
Cud.
us.
Thank you for joining us this morning and hyping up the expo. And we look forward to see you all there December 3rd.
Definitely.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we'll take our first break of the morning. We'll come back. We should be joined by Dr. Louis Dabane from the Ministry of Education.
Pleasant greetings to the resident of Belize City and the fellow stakeholders in disaster preparedness, mitigation, and relief. My name is Natasha Pipersberg, and I am the Belize City Councillor who holds the responsibility for climate change and disaster and risk management. Today, June 1st, officially opens the Atlantic hurricane season and signals that we must again intensify our efforts to remain prepared as we weather the duration of this cycle until November 30th. As per data originating from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Climate Prediction Center, Belize, and indeed those territories which lie within the transatlantic basin, can expect above average hurricane activities this year, with the likelihood of 14 to 21 named storms, 6 to 10 possible hurricanes, and 3 to 6 major hurricanes. Whilst Belize indeed has been divinely blessed in the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, since we did not experience any significant storm activities or hurricane, as a city and a country, we must remain prepared to ensure the safety of our residents, our assets, and the protection of our way of life remains of utmost importance. As we now enter day one of this very unpredictable period, rest assured that the efforts of the City Emergency Management Organization, CEMA, the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMA, and our governmental, diplomatic, and international partners have remained engrossed in preparation for this Atlantic hurricane season. Under the guidance of Mayor Wagner, the City Emergency Management Organization continues to ensure that we remain prepared to weather any event which may arise. CEMA routinely mobilizes the various subcommittees, inclusive of recently established Special Needs and Diverse Abilities Subcommittee, to ensure that as a council and a city, we remain ready to activate in the event of a threat. At this junction, we have also updated our hurricane plan to increase efficiency and equitability. CEMA continues to liaise with NEMA to synchronize operational plans and operating procedures. In addition to this, CEMA continues to intensify its educational outreach through the creation of numerous educational infographics, videos, expansive theory, and practical training for staff, along with copious community engagement throughout the councils. Engage, educate, enforce campaigns. As we prepare for this year's hurricane season, let's take some time to remember the basics. Take time out to create a family plan. Only absorb and share factual information coming from credible sources such as NEMA, CEMA, and the National Meteorological Services. Take note of evacuation routes and centers to seek refuge. This information will be featured on the Council's social media platforms and on local radio and television stations. Be sure to take note of emergency support numbers and be certain that the City Emergency Management Organization, the National Emergency Management Organization, and the governmental and humanitarian assistance stakeholders will be there to offer information and assistance before, during, and after any potential storm. Always remember, it is better to be prepared than sorry, so be sure to make all the necessary preparations and remain vigilant during the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. To view CEMA updates and tips throughout this hurricane season, visit the Belize City Council's Facebook page, visit our website at belicecitycouncil.org, or give us a call at 227-3073. Thank you.
Knowing your HIV status is now easier than ever.
Did you know that you can test for HIV in the comfort of your own home by simply swabbing your gums?
OraQuick is an in-home HIV test that can provide you with results in just 20 minutes. The test detects HIV antibodies with over 99% accuracy and is trusted by healthcare professionals worldwide.
If you receive a positive result, you should contact your nearest healthcare clinic to perform follow-up testing and to get advice on what to do to stay healthy.
And even if you get a negative result, remember, it is important to continue protecting yourself from HIV and other STIs. Using a condom correctly every time you have sex is the best way to do so.
HIV self-testing kit is convenient, reliable, and now available in Belize. Your test, your way. Bob.
For more information on where HIV self-testing kits will be available, please contact the National AIDS Commission, the Belize Family Life Association, or the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
¿Calificas para la Amnistía 2022? Esta es tu oportunidad de averiguarlo. Usted califica si es registrado como solicitante de asilo en el Departamento de Refugiados antes del 31 de marzo de 2020, residiendo en Belice antes del 31 de diciembre de 2016. ¿Tienes hijos nacidos en Belice el o antes del 31 de diciembre 2021? Completó su educación en Belice. Casado con un ciudadano de Belice por un año o más. Viviendo en unión libre con un ciudadano de Belice por 5 años o más. Referido por el Departamento de Servicios Humanos. Empleado remunerado en Belice durante 5 años. Para obtener más información y cómo presentar una solicitud, visita el sitio web www.immigration.gov.bz. Prepárate, el plazo de inscripción será del 2 de agosto al 30 de noviembre de 2022. Amnistía de Belice 2022. Continuemos construyendo Belice juntos.
All right, and welcome back to the November 22nd episode of the Business Perspective. My name is Dan Elliott, and I'm joined by
William Neal.
Right.
Good morning. Very beautiful day. One that you don't want to get out of bed, especially after the holiday weekend, right?
Yes, I know.
But
and the sun this morning driving down. I mean,
I know.
it's beautiful but distracting at the same time if you're driving into the city. But it's definitely, you wouldn't imagine a couple of weeks ago we just went through. Nature is interesting, right? But we're continuing. I probably should frame it that way. We're continuing a conversation that we had started last week. Let's put this into perspective for everybody, business perspective, is the fact that we as the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we're advocates for building a sound entrepreneurial ecosystem because we believe that this is how you move the economy forward. I kind of explained this last week, so I won't raise the whole topic again. But part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem and the business environment requires human capital, which covers health but also covers education, skills. And if we're talking from a inclusive growth, inclusive sustainable development growth standpoint, You want to have people get productive employment for which they need skills. And so therefore, it's only natural that the continuation of that takes us to the guest that we have in the studio this morning, Dr. Louis Zabane. Good morning, Dr. Zabane.
Good morning.
And Dr. Zabane is no stranger to the media and to the public. He is the Minister of State in the Ministry of Education.
Education, Culture, Science and Technology.
All right. And this morning what we're discussing is a national curriculum framework. All right. So I want to toss the first question generally, just an opening question to you, Dr. Zabane. The national framework, why? What's the vision you have for the framework?
Yeah, well, good morning again, and thanks very much for having me this morning for this important topic. But right before we came on, no, you all were sharing what a wonderful weekend you had. And I would love to get a couple of seconds to commend all the people of Dangriga, everybody who came into Dangriga, our mayor and council, the National Garifuna Council, who did a fantastic job in setting the stage for a wonderful weekend. Thank God it was safe. We thank the police department, the traffic department. They did a wonderful job. We had a crowd that I don't remember we've ever seen such a large crowd. Many of our Grigalesians from abroad, Belizeans generally, came to Dangriga, and I hope it's a sign of things to come. But coming to the topic, yes, we want to have opportunities to celebrate and all that, but like you correctly said in your opening, we also want to be able to prepare our people in such a way that they become independent, that they become contributors to our development in a manner that meets their expectations, their aspirations, their dreams. It's not imposed from the outside. It is what we as a community, multicultural community, decide that this is the vision that we want. And so that is the vision of the curriculum. We have now a national curriculum framework that was developed in real consultation by a committee of people from across the spectrum in the country. I'm really grateful to the work that they did. They did it gratis as a service to our country. In fact, at the end of the document, you will see the list of all those persons who gave of themselves for this. It's based on evidence, it's based on research, it's based on best practices, and it coincides with our vision for going forward, empowering our people. So ultimately, the reason for it is that our education system has been failing us, and we've been consistently lamenting this failure, but really not making interventions that are meaningful in getting us to the next level. And maybe one of the reasons we have not taken that step is because it's not easy. It's not an easy path that we have decided to take, but it's a path that I'm convinced that we have the people within our country who will be able to make this work.
Now, I want to, you said something that triggered a thought for me, in that we're talking about it's a daunting task and it has not been easy. But retooling when it comes to education also means retooling teachers, right? So it's not just the approaches. So how does the ministry intend to also ensure that there's a retooling and re-education for teachers as well, to make sure that they embrace this new, because change is never easy, and if you've been doing something for quite some time, you know, it's difficult for teachers to make that switch. We saw that with COVID challenges and making the switch just in terms of moving to online.
Yes, yes. Listen, if we haven't learned yet that for anything to work, the people who will be executing that have to be a part of it, then something is wrong with us, because, you know, we over and over we've discussed the fact that you have to have buy-in. So on multiple efforts that we've made to get to this point have included the teachers as an important partner. For example, in the curriculum committee that I mentioned to you, we had one person representing various stakeholders, but 2 teachers on that committee for their insight, for their participation in what we ended up having. So yes, it is very clear that for us to be able to implement what is here, we all need to be involved in, first of all, understanding what it is we're about to do, or we've started to do, which means that, for example, in the first instance, as you said, change is not easy. A very simple thing, asking our teachers to read this document from back to front is something that I want to say to them. If you go through the document, you will naturally, I believe, regardless of where you are, who you are, develop some level of excitement about the possibilities. So the first thing is at least to read the document that has been prepared by your colleagues and let us understand what it is that we have. We at the ministry have worked hard on building trust. Imagine we started to do this in the context of COVID and a 10% cut. That was very, very challenging. Already we understood that teachers, even before COVID, even before the 10% cut, were already under stress. So the first thing we looked at was the fact that we have an overloaded curriculum over the years. And what has happened, as we say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, over the years, our curriculum has expanded, where we are all of a sudden the champions of curriculum worldwide by having over 10,000 learning outcomes at the primary level, way beyond 30–40% larger than other countries, especially those that have proven to do well. So the first thing we did was to cut back on that excessive expectation on our teachers. Teachers also started to tell us, listen, we spend an inordinate amount of time at night going over every year, preparing our unit plans, our lesson plans, our assessments. Why don't we get our best minds, our best teachers, prepare the unit plans, prepare the lesson plans, prepare the assessments? It's an age of, the third industrial revolution, which many countries have gone through. We're still struggling to go through it, but information technology allows us to put these things up on our platform so that the teachers now can use that 3–4 hours more productively in service of our children. We have already done that. We have already started to put up the unit plans. We organize the teachers. We organize our best educators. So we have, for example, Dr. Priscilla Lopez-Brown. We have Dr. Matthias Virus with groups of our best teachers preparing the unit plans, preparing the assessments that are now consistent with competency-based education. So we have listened to the teachers. So that's the point I wanted to make, that we have to build back that confidence with our teachers. Because if we don't have that, we're going to be on a path of failure. The next thing is we have to find the resources now to be able to train our teachers, retrain them on what this approach requires, and then not just those who are out there working, but those who are in the education system getting prepared to be teachers. So we have already had a meeting with our tertiary institutions who deliver teacher training programs, and we will be embarking as well on the revolutionizing of their curricula, because that's going to be critical for producing the new teachers that will now be able to deliver this. So that's maybe a partial answer to your question, given the limited time we have.
No, I think that's a very thorough and comprehensive answer, and there's a lot of things you said that I'm tempted to chase some of the rabbits. One of them you did mention, though. I'm a former primary school teacher, So I can tell you from personal experience, lesson planning takes up time, and time away from your family. So I think that's a very important thing. It should be seen as a positive for especially teachers who are in the primary school system who are still having to do that. Some schools, I don't know if they still do this. I know they moved from weekly to daily at one point in time, and that was again taking up its own time from sometimes their own kids.
Yes.
So I think that's a very good move forward. But you made reference already, and I want to, just for the benefit of the viewers and listeners, Greg, if you can show slide number 2, because I want to highlight the purpose and the function of the National Curriculum Framework. It says the main purpose of this National Curriculum Framework is to promote a consistent, high-quality, competency-based education via policies and practices that set standards across the curriculum. I won't read the rest of that. But the one I want to highlight here is competency-based education. Now, a lot of people, surprisingly even within the education system, may not have a clear understanding of what competency-based education is. Right. Now, I want to ask you if you can please elaborate exactly what competency-based is, and maybe even touch on the student-centered versus teacher-centered philosophies of education.
Right. Certainly. This is, if you want to find the heart of this new approach, this is precisely the fact that it's competency-based. So the best way is for us to contrast with what we have been doing traditionally and now what we are going to be doing with this new approach. So traditionally, we have had teachers stand in front of a classroom of kids, and all the kids focus on the teacher, and the teacher puts this information out using their voice and the blackboard, etc., to transfer knowledge from them to the students. So it's been a teacher-centered approach. The students are asked to memorize, for the most part, knowledge and regurgitate that knowledge, and then they're graded using a summative approach. So as we know, with the grading system many of us have experienced, we have midterm, we have finals, we have quizzes, and then there's a percentage taken, and then you're ranked. You get a C or you get a B, whatever the case may be. And then when you're all done, if you make your 70, if that's the passing mark, you who made 70 and you who made 99, all move up to the next grade, right? So here we have now, for example, those of us who have had the privilege to teach at the tertiary level, and we meet students now coming in, second year, sixth form students, fourth year bachelor students, still cannot write clearly, properly, grammatically correct, still cannot communicate, still don't have the critical thinking skills, because our traditional system have said, even you who got a 70 and you who got a 99 are the same, and you go forward to the next grade. So it's, in a sense, some kind of a social promotion that you just keep going forward and forward. The student does not have the opportunity to question the material or to see how that knowledge can be applied. Competency-based education goes beyond that. It says knowledge transfer is critically important, but it might just be a third of the work that you need to do. We now need to show our children how that knowledge is applied in the real world. Now, of course, when you're in infants, you use very basic tools to do that, but as you get farther along, you get to use a little more sophisticated instruments, etc., to get the students to be a part of the application of that knowledge. So the methodologies now change. We now use, for example, problem-based, project-based, inquiry-based approaches to teaching and learning. That means now that kids get together and they have a problem, a real problem, a Belizean problem to solve, right? And they say, okay, we have erosion in the country. How are you now as a team? You have 4 or 5 teams in the class. What are we going to do to solve this problem, and what recommendations you're going to make to the Ministry of Sustainable Development to solve this problem? It's a totally different approach. Okay, what knowledge do we need? Well, we have knowledge from biology, knowledge from math, etc., etc. And that all that knowledge comes into that approach where you have the problem that you want to find a solution. That gets kids very excited. They're excited about being a part of finding a solution rather than to be told that in New Zealand this was done or in Zambia that was done, and memorize it and then you write it in a paragraph. Totally different. So competency-based education now centers around the student.
Mm-hmm.
The student becomes the center of the attention of everything. Another very important aspect is that students need to demonstrate mastery, proficiency of the concepts before they move on to the other one. So you have 30 students. If they all come in with the same level of proficiency, by the time you're halfway, you might have students at 30 different levels with different topics. Now that's where the teacher training comes in, where now the teacher, instead of spending that 3 or 4 hours at night tortured by these things, right, are now thinking excitedly about how we're going to get Johnny over here, right, to move up. Maybe he needs to be a part of the inquiry-based approach here because he seems to like that, and then he'll grasp this concept. Mary, likewise, and so on. And so it becomes a much more exciting environment where the students are the ones who are participating in these things, and they must show, as you grade them, because there will be need for us to tell the students where they are. That's very important. It's normally done on a scale of have not achieved proficiency, intermediate proficiency, proficiency achieved, or proficiency surpassed. So you would have that kind of ranking, and the student then is a part of that. So I have not reached proficiency, and I now as a student understand why I have not reached that proficiency. I collaborate with my fellow students who are there to show me how they attain proficiency. And then if I am good at something, I am proficient in language, then I can likewise share, because now you have competences in here of collaboration. So collaborative competence says that you share what you know with others, and then you feel comfortable in asking others to share what they know with you. And so then it's a teamwork of learning that moves forward the child to that level of competency. A totally different dynamic, much more exciting and engaging, right?
Sorry, and if I may jump in here, sorry, because one of the things, and when I was reading the framework, I won't lie to you, or William, I did light up when I saw in section 5.5 it makes reference to multiple intelligence, because that's been around since the 1980s, yes, I think, from Gartner's, and I asked you earlier on before the show if that's ever been in our curriculum before, because for some time now we've known that there are at least 8 or 9 and possibly more different intelligences. Everybody's a genius, aside from maybe a learning disability, but on average everybody is technically a genius in another area. I can tell you now, obviously from the fact that I'm a talker on a show, my most dominant is linguistic intelligence. Logical, mathematical, and linguistics tend to do pretty well in the traditional school system, but God help everybody else.
Right.
And I think that is one of the areas where the competency can definitely help the kinesthetic and all the others that are out there.
Right, so I mean teamwork, right? So in a team, a team will fail if you all have, in the basketball team, everybody's a point guard,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Or everybody is a defender or whatever. You have to have people with various skills that they bring, or competencies, or aptitudes, I should say, that then will complement each other. And that's what makes a child become confident that, yes, I might not have this particular intelligence, but I see, wow, I didn't even know. And now I am being valued for what I am bringing to the equation, right? So these are the kinds of things that make this a very exciting approach to dealing with this pestering problem of not having the needed the competency in our citizenry to make our companies productive, to make the sustainable human development happen, because we just don't have the competencies in our population to get there.
I want to. I love the conversation, and like Dion said, you know, you get excited, especially if you are a teacher, about these things. But one of the challenges that we face as a nation is definitely parental involvement and support, because obviously, you know, we've used the analogy before where you're talking about education being some kind of a stool where parents, you know, the institution, teachers,
Right.
etc., and you know, everybody is there to really support the child in their learning. So how does the framework actually take into consideration parental support or challenges with parental support
Yes.
to make sure that a student becomes his or her best self?
No, it's a very, very relevant question, and you know, we're challenged with, you know, we're in a sense, we have to be realists that this is where we are as a country. We wish it was otherwise, but we know that we could go into a long discussion about why we're here, etc. But we are where we are. So the reality is that many children don't have that parental support. So other ministries would be working on that, human development, for example, with social workers. But education recognizes the importance of that early support from parents and that ongoing support, which is why in our traditional system, we have been able to produce kids who have succeeded. But if we take a good look at the data, we are celebrating less than 5% of all of our students every year, and great for them. You know, we certainly, maybe some of our own kids are in that number. But then the other 95%, and especially the lower 50%, right, who have not had the parents like those kids and the finances to send them to the better schools, etc. So what this approach does, if you look at why many students have been dropping out, is because school is a burden for them. So the teachers have already been burdened because of the overloaded curriculum, because of having to do all these things that they don't need to do. They come to the classroom, they're human beings, and it's for them to try and finish the curriculum and as much as they can, right? So there's not time to deal with the individual students. This approach is totally different. We've taken out the overload. Now, at least in the classroom, at least there now, this new approach allows for a new environment where the kids who come with those deficiencies because of an environment that they are not responsible for, at least now they would want to come to school because they're being valued at school, because their teacher has the time to give them the attention. At least that we can say on the positive end, that this new curriculum will be able to create that environment. The other issues that you're pointing to, I think, these are other things that we also have to look at. How do we strengthen the family setting or allow for interventions there where they can now want to also contribute to their kids' education. But I will be the first to tell you that where we want to get will take a number of years, right?
Well, I definitely want to. I mean, definitely a lot of things to get to, but I'm looking at the time, so we'll definitely have to take that second break of the morning. When we come back, I want to ask you a question. What does this mean for BJAT and PSC?
Yeah.
Sure.
But to hear your answer to that question, stay with us, and we'll be back after these messages.
Good morning. Improving weather conditions are expected today as our airflow becomes less moist. The forecast for today is for cloudy skies with sunny breaks, along with a few showers and the chance for an isolated thunderstorm, mostly over coastal areas this morning, then inland this afternoon. Tonight will be partly cloudy with isolated showers, mainly over the south. Winds over the open sea will be from the north to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be light chop. Maximum temperatures today will be around 85 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 89 inland, but only 76 degrees up in the mountains. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for mainly fair weather with only isolated showers. There is a high tide at 9:08 this morning and another at 8:23 tonight. Low tides occur at 2:29 this afternoon and at 3:40 tomorrow morning. Sunrise this morning is at 6:01 and sunset this evening 5:15. The moon will set at 4:19 this evening and come up again at 5:38 tomorrow morning. In the tropical weather outlook for the North Atlantic, the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours. With that, we end this report from the Belize Weather Bureau.
The season where allies become rivals is here. Get ready for the FIFA World Cup 2022. Enjoy exclusive discounts on TVs and accessories just in time for the World Cup. Whether you're on the market for a 32 or 65-inch TV or one in between, we have all the sizes in stock now. 32-inch TCL Smart TV start at only $519 and 32-inch Samsung Smart TV at only $599. Love the game even more when you upgrade your entertainment experience with our Premier TV wall mount starting as low as $39 and our affordable surge protectors for only $35. Take advantage of these deals and visit us at any of our Cellular World stores in Belize City, Belmopan, and San Pedro, or shop with us via our virtual store using Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp at 615-5141. Promotion ends December 17th.
Hola. Disculpa por no llegar anoche. Lo siento. He estado hace tiempo con ganas de decirte algo. Últimamente estoy lidiando con mis problemas de salud mental.
If there was no stigma around mental health, I'd be more open about what I'm going through on the inside. And I don't know, maybe I'd find that other people in my life are actually going through the same thing.
Há alguns anos, comecei a contar para outras pessoas sobre minha ansiedade. Isso me ajudou a descobrir ótimas formas de como lidar com ela.
Soy muy sociable. Creo que si hablara sobre mis problemas de la salud mental, simplemente no lo creerían. Por eso no hablo de ello.
Me preocupa que si la gente se enterara de mi salud mental, pensarán que soy débil. Por eso me aislé. Pero creo que voy a cambiar esto.
Introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Good morning, Belize, and good morning. I say good morning, Belize, and good morning. And how are you this morning?
All right, and welcome back to the November 22nd episode of Business Perspective. I am Dan Elliott.
And I'm William Neal. And we have in studio a special guest, Minister Zamane.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Thank you too for coming. Just before the break, BJET and PSC, competency based, what's happening to those?
Right. So assessment now shifts to look at the formation of these competencies for the student. Many times the way the testing was done, it's a convenient and easy way for the teacher to add up percentages and then you get a report card. Now it is much more focused on the individual student and what they're doing. So we will have system-wide assessments that students will need to take at specific times so that the education system now will be tested. The whole system overall. How well are we moving our children to achieve these competencies, say by the end of Standard 2, say by the end of Standard 6, and by the end of 4th form. So it's the grades now will be a grade on us, the educators, to know how well we are doing with achieving these objectives at these specific periods of time. So the actual content and format of the testing will look very different from what we're accustomed to. It will be more looking at students working together as teams, solving problems, that sort of thing, right? As we were saying earlier, students will, along the way, with regular assessments, be able to suggest to teachers, I have an uncle or an aunt who is a doctor or a nurse, and we're talking about so-and-so in biology, whatever, in science. Maybe I could bring my aunt to school to come and give us a half an hour of her experience and so forth. That is how you gain competency. Your teacher is now saying, wow, this student is exhibiting an ability to show initiative and to contribute and to be a team player, that sort of thing, right? So it's a totally different approach. It's about looking at these competencies that are being recommended here. No?
A quick question, because when we're going through changes or making dynamic changes or drastic changes in some cases like this, obviously there's a timeline that you take into consideration. You implement or you start your implementation, and people expect that you want assessment, right, and it has to work, or we throw it out. And we've gone through quite a number of curriculum shakeups, so to speak, right? And a lot of them were driven also by funding, whether it's from UNESCO or wherever. What's the timeline? Because I think that's an important thing also for parents to understand, that as you're going through this process, that you have to be invested in it, but you have to stick to it too, to make sure that you do have the long-term benefits that we intend.
Absolutely. On the largest scale, every Belizean citizen should, I recommend, humbly recommend, take a chance. It's right there on the website. Take a read of it. It's very short, just 36 pages with the appendices and all that. Read through it. So that's number one. In competency-based is an approach where, as I said earlier, not like the traditional approach where we have things being time-bound, that, all right, midterm, everybody take this and now we move on to the next, all as a whole group. It's individual students who are moving at their pace, at their own pace, and the teacher recognizing that pace and finding strategies within the classroom for those who need ways to get forward. And then, in terms of looking at it over a number of years, we have to see that, in a sense, it's almost like our whole education system itself has to achieve the competency of delivering quality education. So just like how a child will begin to show little proficiency and intermediate and so on, that's the same way this effort we have to envision it. This transition year, we're all learning. We're clearly not where we want to be. After a year or two, we start to develop the ability, and then as we go forward, we then mature into this new approach to education. But like you correctly said, the parents, all stakeholders will have to be involved in it. And one of the best ways is to read the document, right?
Can I just ask one follow-up question? Because this is one of those situations where you're going to have to fly the plane and repair the plane and do everything in between while you're doing what is necessary. And I like the fact that you're talking about having everyone, because we're all stakeholders in the education of our young people, and even continuing education, because I think that's something that is missing as well.
Absolutely.
And retooling for adults, because I think that's important. It's not once you're out of the formal system, it's done, right? So the follow-up question that I have then is the same way you have teacher engagements, are there engagements from the ministry at the community level to see how support can be broadened to make this work for us? Because this is really revolutionary in terms of the success of the nation in a lot of ways.
Right.
So is that a component that has been thought through in terms of community involvement to make sure that we have that?
Yes, so I like what you said earlier, because as you're preparing to ask your question, you touched on maybe 5 very important things that would take us a few hours to go through. But in Spanish, there's a saying, en el camino se arregla la carga, which means that as you go along, you see the farmer coming with a lee buggy and maybe the horse and buggy, and you have water, you stop here for watermelon, then you stop over there for potatoes and so, and then the thing, they get full. But he doesn't leave with the empty cart and say, when I reach up precisely this watermelon going here, this one going here, and I know exactly that by the time I'm done with picking up all my cargo, it will be precisely this way. That's not how life goes when you are going to be doing something special and new like this. So in our conversations that we've had with our stakeholders, we've said, listen, we are working together to make this happen. So everybody has to contribute their perspective to this thing, their ideas. It is not just identifying that, here's a problem with implementing the curriculum. It is also coming with 3 or 4 potential solutions to that problem from your perspective, because we want that perspective. So in our consultations that we've had, which started in January of 2021, by August, we had 18, at the time these were virtual meetings, 18 virtual meetings, including with the media, including with the opposition, including with students, with parents, everybody that we could meet with, we met with and discussed this at the beginning of this process. And so what you're saying is critically important, that everybody, in fact, when we had the Curriculum Reform Steering Committee set up, we got calls from two sectors that we had not included as we went along, and bam, right away, right? Because that is the attitude. So if everybody takes the ownership of this process, then we expect that people will be calling, the community will be engaged. So rather than to feel that the ministry needs to come to you, you feel that you are a legitimate partner and you take the initiative to come to us and say, these are the things that we feel are important, etc., right? And we welcome that, because that is how we will end up with success, when everybody is a part of it, right?
I think what you're saying a lot is that the stakeholders don't have a passive role, we have an active role.
Absolutely.
And I think that goes for the home, that goes for the employers, that goes for everybody who living in this country. Time is doing what it does. I wanna jump to an area that you said you wanna focus on, the 7 competencies. Greg, if you can show that for those watching by screen as well. Just wanna highlight the 7 competencies.
Right.
So talk to us, Dr. Zabane, about these. For those watching by TV, let me just read it out for those. Just to sit down and then you could go into them.
Please.
The first one is appreciation of the sacred nature of the human person and character of development. So that's competency 1. 2, emotional intelligence. We can have a whole conversation on that one. Effective communication. 3, critical and innovative thinking. That's a book. 4, collaboration. Dr. Zabane has been talking about it already. Multicultural appreciation, digital literacy, understanding of and advocacy for sustainable human development. Those are the 7. Can you elaborate on why these and what they mean?
Right. And I invite you all who will be downloading this from our website. It's on page 17 and 18, and it ends at the top of page 19. Notice I want to encourage people to go and read.
Yeah.
Right? So appreciation for sacred, I just want to, students will develop an appreciation for each human person as unique and precious and worthy of respect and a dignified existence. Just that one sentence, if you think about that, that's a totally different worldview in terms of how you will approach your students, right? So that means that person that's there in your classroom, every student is precious, and you come to that classroom electrified, energized to serve that person, and each one of them gets that kind of service, right? So these are the competencies that the stakeholders, looking at all the things that we believe students should develop during their time in school, and then become positive contributors to the development of our country. These are the 7 competencies. So now, in teacher training, what teachers are thinking of as they develop an understanding of all of these competencies is that whether I am teaching math, English, expressive arts, science and technology, Belizean studies, these are the subjects that are in the curriculum, leadership or religion. When we are looking at the actual day-to-day activity, it is to find opportunities to build these competencies from inside the student. So these are things that are innate in the student. So you have to create the opportunities for them to build these competencies. It's not like, now I have it in me because I'm the teacher, right? I have a bachelor's or a master's or a PhD or whatever, and now I am going to infuse this into the child. It's a totally different approach. Every child, as you said, we have multiple intelligences, and identifying that and then building those competencies from within them by creating those opportunities for them. So those competencies are critical, and that is part of what the retraining of teachers will be all about. There's also another exciting feature of this curriculum. It's called cross-curriculum learning areas. There will be a set time in the curriculum as a subject. So imagine you're a primary school teacher, and you're teaching all the subjects, but then there's a time now when you will be with your students and you say, all right, remember what we did in math with this particular competency, whatever it is, multiculturalism or whether it is critical thinking or whatever, but we also did it, see, in Belizean studies. At this point, this is how we were dealing with that competency, and then pull them all together at one period so that the child can see the interconnectedness of all of these subjects for them. So that's another exciting area that we're talking about. Again, people who are viewing will say, wow, this now means that we really have to do a lot of work with our teachers, right?
But
that is absolutely so.
But what this is saying, though, because it's interesting when you look at the 7 competencies, it's not talking about becoming calculus proficient specifically. This is about the person becoming, and correct me if I'm wrong, but these are the ingredients for a lifelong learner.
That's correct. Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's the ultimate goal that we're trying to achieve here.
And better human beings.
Yes, yes.
And better human being.
Right.
Because I think that's, when you look at the 7 competencies, I think words have meaning, but these go beyond that, in that people may not understand why collaboration is. A lot of what important a lot of what you do now in the workplace is you collaborate. You have to learn to work with each other.
Yeah.
And that could also transcend into what we do out in the wider community. Instead of avoiding difficult conversations, we use those conversations to push each other to grow. Instead of having a lot of violence on the street and in so many ways, they are real life things, but they are often seen as softer skills, you know, when compared to learning math or science or whatever. But I like the fact that you're talking about how they are built into whatever you're doing so that it becomes a part of the process, and that you understand, as Dion said, for lifelong learning.
Absolutely.
It's also lifelong engagement in your own development and in the development of other people.
Absolutely, and we could bring it down to economic terms. I know this is a business show, right? We always say, well, wow, boy, the Mennonites, they do this, or the Chinese, they do that, and so on. But if you look at really how they accomplish what they are accomplishing, it is through having many of these competences that we're talking about right here, right? What you just said is that if you have a community that is working together, sharing information, helping each other, then there is progress. But then where the opposite of that exists, there's not progress. And then when there's not progress, and then you have to spend a lot of money trying to control crime, then you have to spend a lot of money dealing with domestic violence, all these other things that occur because you don't have these competencies. So it is for the purpose of making our socio-economic condition much better, right? That these competencies are so important to inculcate and build in our next generation. That is really where we will ultimately see the manifestation of this investment. It will be in our next generation moving forward. And if citizens themselves, as I said, take a chance and read the document, we might even get some immediate effects as well, right?
I'm hoping that one thing that take away from the show, please download the document and read it, because I think this is like what and I understand why you're doing it. It's like the fifth time we're saying it, because it is an easy read and it's an important read, and I think everybody needs to look at it. But as you look at these are all, we look at that on management literature, and you're seeing emotional intelligence, for example. You see a lot of these things coming out of Harvard Business Review and different magazines that are saying, studies are showing that managers, for example, with high levels of emotional intelligence are better managers.
Right.
Digital literacy, I think that speaks for itself. I jokingly told somebody not too long ago, in the past it was the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic. Now it has to be the 3 R's and C, reading, writing, arithmetic, and coding, right? Because you need to be able to understand computers. Well, I know sustainable human development is close to your heart. I was reading it and I said, I wonder if Dr. Zabani write this himself, because I'm seeing a lot of references to sustainable development, which is an important aspect as well. So I think all of this is good. I think the employers, though, most critically are looking at the critical thinking, innovative thinking. Nothing more troubling that somebody knows something by rote learning and knows to do it that one way, and the situation comes up and can't apply it in a new circumstance. And I think this is really a good step forward for boosting productivity and what happens at work. One last thing that we want to raise here is in terms of the next phase, as to what comes next.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that opportunity. So we had the COVID effect of having a serious impact on learning for all of our children. So there was significant learning loss. The ministry has attempted to mitigate that as best as possible over the end of the summer, this last July and August, with a catch-up program in literacy and numeracy. Teachers are still struggling with that as we speak, to get their kids just to be able to read again, because they haven't been doing that for 2 years. Now, so we've given teachers an opportunity to settle in with the kids and deal with the socio-emotional aspects of this COVID. So we didn't want to come on so strong right away and say, okay, we have a new curriculum, implement that on top of, no. So this is the time now we feel that we will now be doing a countrywide monitoring and support of our teachers. consists of a couple things. One, I will be leading a small group, like I had done previously, that will include President of BNTU, Senator Smith. It will include a representative of managements. It will include our Chief Education Officer. It will include someone from UNICEF. It will include someone from Pathlight. And it will include 1 or 2 people from our ministry's curriculum unit. Last time we spent a day in each district. Now we will spend at least 2 days, more intensively, more focused in each district. From December to February, we're dealing with primary. March, April, and May, we'll be dealing with secondary. Also, we're creating a team of best practice teachers, 31 in all, that will be doing a number of things. We're creating another page on our virtual platform. It's a community of practice for our teachers who will then be able to log on, and it will be divided by levels. So lower primary, middle primary, upper primary, lower secondary, upper secondary. And you log on, man, I'm having difficulty with this aspect of whatever. You type that in, right there, open up. And then you have teachers from across the country who will be able to come in and say, in my school, I have been able to address that in this way. If that is not satisfactory, then these members of the team will be able to come in and give more directed responses. And if that's not possible, then carry it on to whatever experts. So that by next year, when we're about to implement in 2023, by then, all teachers would have had an opportunity to get some type of support so that they are as comfortable as they could be. Because in 2023, it is all schools that will be required to implement this, right? So those are the things that we're about to embark in to give that support to our teachers across the country, and principals, of course.
I think, this is good stuff, and I have to ask the question before we go from here. You always, as an economist, you talk about lags. How long do you think it will be before we see the actual effects on the ground? Because you're going to go through the storming, norming phase. This is going to take some time for people, because you're at the heart of it, you're dealing with school culture at one end. And so we see the objective. Do you anticipate that before you start seeing the results, it's going to take maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before you actually start seeing what you're looking for?
I think that if we didn't have COVID, it would have been maybe 2 years before we really started to see.
Okay.
But because of COVID's lingering negative impact, we're trying to do 2 things at the same time. And that is really pressure on everybody. But again, the only way we can address that is if by us all working together. So I figure that we start to implement across the board 2023.
Okay.
And I believe that in about 3-4 years, we will start to see our teachers becoming very comfortable with this new approach. Once we, of course, the proviso is that we give that support to them along the way, consistently along the way. And we build up the competency of the education sector to deliver competency-based education. And with the help that we're getting, for example, we have gotten tremendous help from UNICEF. I cannot overemphasize that. They have helped us financially, and UNESCO has also helped in the process. And we will also be expecting assistance from the Millennium Challenge Corporation, that is bringing a significant amount of resources to Belize for education. A lot of that will be focused on teacher training. So with all of our partners working together, I feel that we have a great opportunity to get implemented.
And when you say teacher training, I'm hoping that includes administrators as well, principals to help guide their teachers as well.
It starts from within the ministry, from our district education centers, our managements, our principals, all of us, and anybody else in society who wants, even the media, right? We're happy to work with you so that we can share more of this exciting work. I'll close with this. It is in my humble opinion, right? Because we talk especially on love, You have many interesting topics that you cover. But when we look back historically at this period of time, we've had great things that have occurred in the economy, in society, you know, with the constitution, etc. But for the long-term sustainable human development of Belize, it is my humble opinion that this change in the curriculum is the most important thing that we have.
I think as 3 educators on this table, I think we can agree with that.
Stamp of approval.
We approve this message. Dr. Zabane, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
William, as
always
always.
a joy to be here.
And but we are definitely over time, not just out of time. And so with that, we want to thank you, listeners and viewers, for joining the Business Perspective this morning. And we'll be back next week with more of the same. And so there, stay tuned.
Digi, the premier name in voice and data, is also the country's leading provider of innovative services and solutions for small business and enterprise. At Digi Business, we offer solutions, tools, and applications to support your business needs. Reduce costs, improve efficiency, and excel in a changing world where no idea is too big and no task is too small. From technology advising to design implementation and management, our team of qualified solution sales and specialists can develop a reliable and robust infrastructure, allowing you to spend more time on what matters most, your business. Visit us online to explore how DigiBusiness innovative products and solutions can help your business reduce costs and improve efficiency.
Atla Express is a service that allows you to perform financial transactions conveniently at your neighborhood stores countrywide. Enjoy the convenience of cash withdrawals, bill payments, credit card payments, top-up, or transfer between your accounts. All you need is your Atlantic Bank Visa debit card along with an ID. Non-Atlantic Bank customers can also enjoy this service by paying with cash. Atla Express is easy, convenient, secure, and near you. Savor every moment.
Experience our country. Go the extra mile.
And just dive in.
We are Belizean travelers. Are you?